Jesus. Hi guys, Kibara here. Yesterday I worked on a track. It's very rough. It has some potential, it's very minimalistic. Let's see where it's going. And I thought I record a video to showcase the process from here to maybe hopefully a finished track. And I want to take you along on this journey. The other thing I want to do is I actually want to use the toys that I have here. So very often, you buy these things and then they look great, but you don't really use them. I want to include them. So right now I don't use them in this track yet. It's all Ableton Live, but maybe let's see if I can fit the Model D or the Wasp somewhere. Maybe add some 909 stuff with the TR-8S. So let's just see. Okay, so what do we have at the moment? We have the DS drum rack. So those are not samples, those are the Max for Live DS devices that you can get. And the good thing is you can manipulate them later since they are synthesizing the sounds. So let's see, maybe that's great for some automation later. So that's the beat. And I added some 909 samples, the crash and an open hi-hat. Maybe these things I will replace with the TR-8S sounds. Or maybe I build something on top. But I still want to show you what other elements I have there for now. So I have some M1. When you open the M1, it comes with the film score. I drag it over here. And it's just really simple. On the one, it makes the sound. Makes it a little bit more dramatic if you combine it with the beat. And it still leaves a lot of space for the other elements. When I bought the Mini Lab 3, it came with the Analog Lab 5, which is not the trial version, but it's also not the full version, but it comes with a lot of presets and things. I wanted to use it. When you just open it, it comes with the Juno keys as a default, and that's what I added here. It's basically a chord. I use the expressive chords for that because I'm not a piano player. Already has a nice mellow vibe to it, and I want to build onto this. I have a couple of divas here. So what do we have? We have this one here, more of a rhythmical bass, and this probably will be really great with some delays to it later and some filter automation. So the other bass I have is, okay, more of a low bass. And I think this one I replaced with the Model D. Could be the kind of sound that is quite good to use on the Model D. And the third bass I have for now is this one here. It's more of a bright sound that I can get out of the Deluxe, so maybe this could be something I can feed into the Deluxe. So let's try out these things. At the moment, the whole thing would sound like this. Regarding the setup of how I connected my synthesizers and my audio interface and Ableton, I have this other video for my hybrid setup. I link it in the description. You can look it up there. If you have any questions regarding your setup or anything, you can write it in the comments or write me a DM. So I create a new audio and call it Model D. And I want to send this MIDI information to the Model D using MIDI, so this line here, and then the audio will go through over here to my audio interface, and then it will be available here again in Ableton Live. Okay, so now that everything is set up, let's play around and see how we can program a nice deep bass on the Model D, because at the moment it sounds like this, and that is not what I want to have. Wave because it's taking care of the deep end, and maybe let's have it a little bit less stabby. Okay, now we can add a second one. Let's see what sounds good. Okay, now we can deal with the filter. Okay, this is starting to sound like what I was looking for. Now we make it a little bit more dirty. Okay, I think we can work with this. Okay, I think we need to do a little bit processing. So starting with the drums, it's very clicky and pointy. So what I did is just for now to use the glue compressor to take a little bit away. The issue still is that it has these spikes, so I clipped them to make it more even. What I did for the Model D is I cut some of the low bass because I will edit back with just some sine wave afterwards. So I removed the bottom end of it, then I fed it into Decapitator, just slightly to distort it a little bit more, made it darker with the tone, and then it goes into the auto filter to remove sounds above, what will this be, maybe 400 Hertz. And as you can see with the envelope, every time the bass hits, it opens up the filter a little bit more automatically. And I use the LFO so it changes in a not synchronized way. And then afterwards, to level it out, it goes into an emulation of the 1176. And now it's audible. You can see it sits nicely at the bottom. Maybe later when we process the kick, we will add some sidechaining so they are not in their way, but it seems like the kick and the bass is on different levels here, so they are not interfering too much with each other, it seems. What I like to use in a situation like this is the kilohertz compactor, which is free, and I use it to sidechain. The kick sidechain input is the kick. And you can see it's stacking the sound every time the kick is hitting. I think this is sounding good for now. Next is we need to add some low bass again back to the Model D. So I create a new track here. For simplicity reasons, I just use Serum for it. I think basic shapes is fine, and we go to sine wave. Have it more like an 808. Not sure if you can hear it at this point. And now we just set both in a way that you can hear them in a nice balance. Okay, I will group both as a bass group, because then I can glue them together and I don't need to do the compactor thing on each individual bass channel. Okay, so I played around a little bit with the settings of the kick and the two basses, and they seem to play together quite well. Let's have the full beat again with the two basses. Okay, we're back from the lunch break, and I think next we should program in a little beat on the TR-8S. Let's go. Okay, let's record the TR-8S in. Okay, let's record in another version where we play around with the hi-hat. Okay, this is what the TR-8S sounds like now. Now let's build some beat progression so we have a structure of the song. Okay, now that we changed the kick to the TR-8S kick, we should change the settings again for the sidechain. Okay, change it here to the BD. So the kick is hitting around 12. And our bass is also hitting around 12. Maybe let's have it at 18. We should level it with the film score. And reuse the compactor as well there. Let's get some movement here. And I think we have too much low end. Yeah, definitely. Nice. Okay, let's see if we can get some nice effects out of the Wasp. That's not bad. I think I'm already fine with that. We might have to process it a little bit in Ableton, but yeah, I think that's enough for the Wasp for this song. So actually what we got is two things. We have this one. And then maybe for a breakdown, we have this sequence here. Okay, processing so far is quite little. So for this one-off Wasp sound, I didn't do anything. I will copy over the equalizer from the other version. Okay, and then for the one that goes a little bit lower and lower through the filtering, I have the LA2A to level it out, because you can see already by the waveform, this is quite changing in volume. Let's have a listen without. And now with. And take note here, it will go very far on this loud point here. Yeah, and it levels it out. Sounds good. What we are doing next is use some sound effects for reverb and delay to make it less dry. But let's start with the Wasp sound we just created. Let's get my good friend, the Echo Boy. Okay, I think that grows quite nicely. What do we do for the reverb? Let's use the stock reverb and let's feed some drums into it. Need to remove the reverb here if we feed it into another reverb channel. Jesus! Take a look at this waveform here. What the? Why the reverb break? Jesus Christ. Heart attack. Let me restart Ableton. Okay, time to add back some of the other things. So remember we had this little diva thing going on. Probably will automate this in a moment. And in the beginning I said this would pair very well with some delay. Now we have this Echo Boy here, so let's see. I think maybe we need another delay for this one. So let's go back to the good old Echo Boy, but this time we use one with less feedback and a little bit more present for the repeats. I would like to have this filtered, and another sound toy thing is the filter freak. I would like to have the high end gone. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Maybe still have some feedback. This will pair very well with some modulation. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm back after another break. All right, let's continue. So I moved this little bass here into the group so we can process all the bass together. And right now the sub bass plays the same notes as the Model D, and I think it would be nicer to have a more of an offbeat relationship between the sub bass and the kick. So let's do a copy, currently place this. And what I would like to do is this offbeat thing. For some reason I really don't hear the sub. Maybe I shift over to the actual sub. Yeah, that is actually what I wanted to have. Let's just experiment a little bit with different distortion tools. Okay, that's very different than what we plan to do with the Model D, but I like where it's going. I don't know where these sounds are coming from, but I like them. Maybe that's something. Instead of having it more heavy here, we can remove things. Yeah, like this. And then it slowly starts to build up again. And then we have it all together. Okay, I will take some time to experiment, work with the arrangements, and then once I have something that's close to being a done track, I will put a camera on and I walk you through what I came up with. Otherwise, this will take way too long. Alright, it starts to get dark outside and I tinkered around with this song for a bit more than an hour now. It's 4 minutes, a bit longer than 4 minutes. It has certain build-ups, breakdowns. I also did a little bit of mixing and mastering, but it's not fully done, obviously. But yeah, I think content-wise, 90% of the song is here. So let's see how it sounds like. that's it. Very rough, but all I could do today, I guess, was a productive day. Thank you for following along. If you like this type of content, I have already uploaded similar stuff on my channel. Would be happy about any subscribe and follow on any socials. Have a nice Sunday and see you soon.